Imagine taking your favorite succulents and letting them grow in nothing but clean water, no soil mess, no constant repotting, just simple roots doing their thing like a laid-back science experiment on your kitchen counter. A lot of people think succulents only survive in dry sandy soil, but some of the toughest varieties actually grow even better when their roots sit in water and stay oxygenated. It is one of the easiest low-maintenance hacks for busy plant lovers, and it looks pretty cool too, almost like a tiny terrarium without the fuss. In this video we are diving into the top 10 succulents that adapt beautifully to water culture and keep growing with little effort. These plants are known for solid root strength, slow but steady growth, and the ability to handle moisture without rotting. Whether you want a clean minimalist setup for your desk or you are trying out water propagation that lasts for months, these picks are going to surprise you. So sit back, grab your favorite mug, and let's walk through the succulents that thrive where you least expect it, right in fresh clear water. Desert rose is one of those succulents that turns heads even before you figure out how tough it actually is, and when you place its thick caudex above water and let only the roots touch the surface, it responds better than most people expect. This plant stores moisture in its swollen base so it never panics when grown in a semi-hydro setup, and studies show that plants with high water storage tissue like this handle controlled water propagation with fewer root failures. When the roots get steady access to clean oxygenated water, desert rose keeps pushing out glossy leaves and even blooms in warm bright spots, something soil-grown plants sometimes struggle with indoors. Its growth slows down during cooler months, but the stability of water culture actually keeps root rot risks lower since there is no soggy soil to trap bacteria, making it a surprisingly reliable choice for water-based succulent growing. Ghost plant adapts to water culture far better than most people assume thanks to its naturally drought-tolerant leaves that store enough moisture to keep the plant balanced while the roots sit in a shallow layer of clean water. This succulent develops strong fibrous roots that transition smoothly from soil to water, and growers often report over 80% success rates when propagating it hydroponically because the roots oxygenate quickly and resist rot. With bright indirect light it keeps its signature pastel tones and even holds its compact rosette form, growing slowly but steadily as long as the water is refreshed every week. The simple setup reduces fungal issues dramatically since there is no damp soil involved, making ghost plant one of the easiest and most forgiving picks for anyone experimenting with succulents that thrive in water. Queen Victoria agave is built like a natural survivor, and that toughness actually works in its favor when you shift it into a controlled water setup, because its thick geometric leaves store enough moisture to keep the plant stable while the roots adapt. This agave forms dense, slow-growing roots that handle semi-hydro conditions well as long as the base stays above the waterline and only the roots touch the surface, a method many growers use with a success rate that outperforms most fast-rotting succulents. In bright light it keeps its crisp white markings and tight rosette shape, growing slowly but reliably while the water keeps minerals balanced without the compaction issues of soil. Since this species is naturally resistant to drought and root stress, water culture actually reduces the risk of fungal problems and lets the plant sit in a stable environment where it thrives with minimal intervention. Brain cactus handles water culture surprisingly well when managed carefully because its dense, folded stems store enough internal moisture to keep the plant stable while new roots adjust to a clean, shallow water layer. Its root system is naturally compact and slow-growing, which makes the transition easier as long as the base stays dry and only the roots touch the water, a method many collectors use with strong success in semi-hydro setups. Under bright indirect light it keeps its quirky maze-like shape and continues adding small growth segments while the water provides steady hydration without the risks of soggy soil. Since this cactus is prone to rot in heavy mediums, moving it to a controlled water environment actually reduces fungal issues and keeps the plant cleaner and healthier with very little maintenance. Karoo Rose adapts to water culture better than most soft succulents because its thick fleshy leaves store enough moisture to keep the plant stable while the roots adjust to a shallow layer of clean water that stays oxygenated. This species naturally forms strong underground tubers, and that storage system helps it handle controlled hydration without stressing, which is why many growers report high propagation success when transitioning Karoo Rose into semi-hydro setups. With bright indirect light it holds its plump rosette shape and slowly pushes out new leaves while the water keeps the environment consistent and free from compacted soil that often causes rot. Since Karoo Rose is sensitive to heavy wet mediums, giving it a clean water base actually lowers fungal risks and keeps growth steady, making it a reliable choice for anyone trying succulents that thrive in water. Lithops can grow in water far better than most people imagine when the setup is done carefully because their paired leaf bodies store an incredible amount of moisture, allowing the plant to stay stable while only the roots touch a thin layer of clean water. These living stones have an extremely slow metabolic rate and a compact root system that adapts to semi-hydro conditions as long as the upper body stays completely dry, a method growers use with surprising success for long-term hydration without soil. Under bright light, they keep their natural stone-like colors and patterns, slowly splitting and forming new pairs while the water keeps the roots consistently hydrated without the risk of trapped moisture that soil often creates. Because lithops are highly prone to rot in dense mediums, moving them into a controlled water environment can actually reduce fungal issues and provide a steady, predictable setup where they continue growing with minimal interference. Ruby necklace adjusts to water culture extremely well because its bead-like leaves store plenty of moisture while the thin trailing stems send out new roots that adapt quickly to a shallow layer of clean water. This plant is known for its fast rooting response, and many growers note strong success rates when shifting it from soil to semi-hydro since the roots oxygenate efficiently and resist rot when kept just above the waterline. With bright indirect light, it keeps its vibrant purple tones and continues growing long cascading strands while the water maintains steady hydration without the compaction issues of soil. Since ruby necklace can struggle in heavy wet mediums, giving it a controlled water base actually reduces fungal problems and keeps the plant healthier, making it one of the most rewarding trailing succulents for a water-based setup. Lithops Julii adapts to water culture in a controlled setup much like other living stone species because its thick fused leaves hold enough stored moisture to keep the plant stable while only the roots touch a very shallow layer of clean water. This species has a compact and efficient root system that can transition to semi-hydro conditions as long as the body remains completely dry, a method many collectors use with steady success due to its slow growth and low water demand. Under strong bright light, it keeps its patterned top surface and natural split cycle while the water provides consistent hydration without the trapped moisture problems that soil often causes. Since Lithops Julii is highly sensitive to rot in dense mediums, giving it a stable water base with proper airflow actually lowers fungal risks and allows it to grow predictably with little maintenance. Bear's paw handles water culture better than most people expect because its thick fuzzy leaves store plenty of moisture, giving the plant a steady buffer while the roots adjust to a shallow layer of clean water that stays oxygenated. This succulent forms strong woody roots that transition surprisingly well from soil to semi-hydro as long as the base stays dry and only the roots make gentle contact with the water, a method growers often use with solid success rates. In bright indirect light, it keeps its chubby claw-shaped leaves and slowly pushes out new growth while the water setup eliminates the risk of compacted wet soil that usually leads to rot. Because bear's paw is sensitive to inconsistent watering in soil, a controlled water environment actually provides more stability and lowers fungal issues, making it a dependable choice for anyone experimenting with succulents that thrive in water. Fenestraria Aurantiaca adapts surprisingly well to controlled water culture because its tubular leaves store a high amount of internal moisture, allowing the plant to stay balanced while only the roots touch a very shallow layer of clean water. This windowed succulent has a compact root system that transitions smoothly to semi-hydro conditions as long as the leaf bases stay completely dry, a method many collectors use successfully thanks to its slow, steady growth habit. With strong bright light, it keeps its translucent leaf tips and continues forming tight clusters while the water delivers consistent hydration without the risk of soggy soil that often leads to rot. Since Fenestraria is naturally sensitive to heavy wet mediums, giving it a stable water setup actually reduces fungal problems and keeps the plant thriving with minimal maintenance, making it an excellent choice for succulent lovers exploring water-based growing. So as you can see, growing succulents in water is not just a fun experiment, it is a clean, low-maintenance way to keep some of the toughest species thriving without the mess of soil or the stress of overwatering. Each of these plants brings its own strengths, from strong root systems to incredible moisture storage, proving that the right setup can completely change how they grow indoors. If you try even one of these water-friendly succulents, you will see how simple and satisfying this method can be. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and if you enjoyed this list, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and drop a comment about which succulent you want to try in water next.